Hey guys, Sid Paint Play. So I started this new video series, basically called "What Army Should I Bring?" And it's basically me giving you ideas on what type of things you should bring with your army whenever you're facing another army. So like I just did a Space Marines video for you guys, and it basically goes over me talking about like what kind of weapons you want to bring, and like what kind of equipment, vehicles, things like that you want to bring. This video series isn't going exactly how I planned it to go. I think I originally meant it to be more of an army building list decider for you guys, but I think by giving you what weapons to bring, it kind of gives you guys a little bit more free play instead of me saying this is what you ought to bring. Because if I say, hey, you should bring lots of heavy bolters, you can attach a heavy bolter to your Rhino. You can give one to the squad. You can bring a Devastator squad. You can bring an attack bike with a heavy bolter. You can do all kinds of different stuff. So it gives you just a generalized idea of what you ought to bring when facing a different army. So what I'm going to do in this video is kind of talk about the main weapons you're going to see with each army. Now, this isn't always guaranteed. Some people might play completely different from what I'm about to tell you. But as far as like the probably 200 to 500 different battle reports that I've watched, and or the games that I've played in my personal time, this is what I've seen. This is what I've seen people bring. If you bring something else, I mean, I'm not trying to offend you, but this is just what I got. So, starting with Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines. Obviously, they are going to vary a little bit, but I thought I'd just group them together because they are close enough already. So let's get started here. So you're going to see lots of Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines, bolt pistols, bolt guns, flamers, heavy bolters, heavy flamers, blast cannons, melta guns, missiles, missile launcher. You are going to see some plasma guns here and there. They're a little bit more common, but not as common because of the fuel runs. That gets hot, special rule. Power fists. Storm bolters, chain fists, chain swords, force axes, force swords, lightning claws, and power axes. Now, granted, your bolt pistols and your bolt guns are going to be obviously your most common. So those have a strength 4, AP 5. The bolt pistol has a 12-inch range, and the bolter has a 24-inch range with a 12-inch rapid fire range. You're going to obviously see lots of flamers. Those are common in just about every Imperial army. You'll see heavy bolters pretty frequently. Heavy flamers not as much. You'll see them more in squads than on vehicles. Lace cannons are going to be all over the place. Melta guns, all in squads. Missile launchers all over the place. Plasma, like I said, not as much. Power fist, you'll see it attached to usually the sergeants and stuff like that, or like Terminators for sure. Storm bolters you're gonna always see pretty much with Terminators, unless they're bringing like assault Terminators or something. Chain fists with Terminators. Then your force and power weapons like your lightning claws and stuff, either gonna see with like either a sergeant or some Terminators. So those aren't as common. The average save for Space Marines, this was just a guesstimation, is going to be between 3+ and 4+. You're going to see more 3+ with the Chaos Space Marines. They're a little bit tougher because I guess they're bad guys? I don't know. Alright, sorry guys, back. I had to go jump a friend's car. Getting back to it. Astra Militarum. So I already told you guys about Space Marines, what you're going to commonly see with them, and kind of how they play a little bit and their saves and stuff. So with the Astra Militarum, you're going to be seeing a lot of auto cannons, either with troops or mounted on a vehicle. Battle cannons, obviously, on the Lehman Russes. Bolt guns are a little bit more rare. You're usually going to see a lot of bolt pistols with sergeants and stuff like that. Heavy bolters you're going to see with heavy weapons teams. Grenade launchers you will see occasionally. Crack grenades. Laser cannons. Ooh, goodness, pardon me. Are a big deal with like their heavy support teams. Last guns are what most of the infantry carry, and they're really not strong at all. No AP and they're strength 3. So, I don't know. I don't even see why people run Footslogger armies. You're gonna see a lot of Meltas. You'll see a lot of multi-lasers on Chimeras. You'll occasionally see them. I think infantry can have some sort of a multi-laser, but and then you'll also see some mortars. As far as close combat weapons, you really don't see a whole lot with the Astra Militarum. You might see a sergeant with a like a chain sword or a force weapon of some sort, or like an HQ like Yark with a power claw, you know, but those are very rare situations. So honestly, these guys are meant more for shooting. They're a long range army. They're more into their vehicles, their chimeras, their oh, one thing I forgot to mention with them, flamers. There's a ton of flamers in these armies too. So their average save, not including their vehicles, just the militia, is going to be between about 4 and 5, and I think their average tank save is like between 11 and 12. So like I said, they're a long range army, more shooty, no melee pretty much. Let's move on over to Dark Eldar. I did not review Eldar because they're relatively close to, don't nitpick me, relatively close to Dark Eldar, not really. They're not an army that I really want to review or really get into. I am not a huge Elves fan. There's just something about them. There's something about the Eldar, there's something about Fantasy Elves, there's something about, like, even watching Lord of the Rings, I really didn't like Legolas. I really didn't. I liked Aragorn and Gimli a little bit more. Even the Hobbits. So there's just something about elves that just kind of doesn't get me going. I don't know. It's weird, because that's like super opposite for everybody else. But anyways, sorry for the weird lighting. I had to set up my own contraption of sorts, because I have just like these big spotlights that hang down here in our garage, and they're super duper bright, and I was pretty much just like glowing like an angel the whole time. I was like having an interaction with God. I mean, like, pretty much it was like this the whole time. It looked like, I know, I was having a moment. But Dark Eldars, you're gonna see a lot of blasters, dark lances, I think that's disintegration cannons, haywire grenades, blasters. Oh yeah, haywire blaster, haywire grenade, heat lances, which are pretty awesome. Liquefier gun. You're looking at splinter cannons, splinter pistols, and splinter rifles a lot. This army's weird. They have either really good AP or really terrible AP. It's like either like on a 1 or 2 plus, or it's like on a 5 or 6. So they're like a mid-range army between 36 and 12 inches. Their average save is about 5 to 6 average. So they're okay. Definitely an army that is a glass hammer by definitely. They're very mobile. They like to have their bikes, their venoms, their raiders, all those different kinds of things. So they're definitely an army where you're going to want to have a lot of vehicles. For Tau, you're going to be seeing a lot of burst cannons, flamers, fusion blasters, heavy burst cannon, I believe, ion accelerator, ion cannon, ion rifle, pulse carbine, pulse rifle, and the rail rifle. Their guys are a little weird. So a lot of people run a lot of elites and things of that such in their armies with Tau, because that's where their strength and power comes from. So a lot of their elites are like roughly about 3 plus on average. I think almost like at least 3 out of every 4 guys are at least a 3 plus. So, and then their troops are awful. They're like 5 and 6 plus. So they're not very, their troops are weak as crap, but then their elites and their tanks and stuff are going to be super strong. And they have super good AP. A lot of their stuff's like the fusion blasters 1, heavy burst cannons 4, which isn't bad, but whatever. Ion accelerators 2, ion cannons 3, pulse rifle and rail rifle are 2 and 1. They have some pretty strong guns, and they're putting down some heavy damage. I see a lot of 7, 6, 8s in there. So most definitely a very shooty, strong army. They pretty much have very little to no melee combat. I know you can bring the Kroot along, but even then I think Kroot are like almost like allied in a way, because like they're like the Tau, but they're like a feral Tau, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they're definitely a shooty army. Keep them back at a distance, fire away. If you get into close combat, good luck. Let's get on with orcs. Orcs are a blast. Pretty much they, outside of their big guns, they really don't have any kind of AP at all. You're going to see a lot of big shooters, burnos, ducket guns, cannon frag. I don't know what that means. You really need to like pay attention to what I'm writing. Shell. Oh, okay. It's the cannon. There's a frag and then there's a shell. Sorry, those are the two different types of ammunition you can have for it. The kill cannons, the rocket launchers, shooters, scourges, sluggers. You're gonna see power claws and choppas and big choppas. So those are like some of the main weapons. They pretty much have almost no AP except for their big cannons, like their kill cannon, your rocket launchers, and the shell for the regular cannon. And those are only a 3+. So really, I mean, it can get Marines. Most of their stuff's like AP5 and stuff, so they'd be good against like Astra Militarum maybe. But even then, with that, you know, you're gonna have to get close range because most of their stuff's between 36 and 12. They're really a short, close range army. They need trucks to get mobile fast, and you know, it's usually they have like 1 or 2 really elite shooty kill tank type things, and then everything else is just mob rule, and they just run and get up in there and smash stuff. So that's definitely what you're gonna want to do. Their average save, honest to God, almost all of them, except for like their elites and their HQs, were like 6+. So you're definitely gonna be losing a lot of guys really fast, but that's why they're hoardy. That's why they're fun. We'll go on ahead and move on to Necrons. They are pretty repetitive. Gauss Flare Arc, Gauss Blaster, Gauss Cannon, Particle Beam, Tesla Carbine, Tesla Cannon, the Hyperphase Sword, the Whips. I think that's on the it's on the Monolith if they bring the Monolith. War Scythes and Whips for the Wraiths. And so all their stuff is more or less pretty much all of it's 24 inches. So that is, then they're operating like 24, 24, 24, 24, 24, 24. Literally everything I have on here is 24 inches, unless it's a close combat weapon. So that is their 2 feet is their operating range. So they're one of those armies that you're going to have to throw in Ghost Arcs and get them across the field ASAP, or they will get blown off the map. Yes, you have Reanimate, which is awesome, but it's not always going to save your bacon. So your warriors, though, are pretty potent. They are strong enough to go ahead and knock out land raiders. You can glance them to death if you need to. And pretty much almost all of them have a 4+ save. So they're a super easy army. If you want to get started with Warhammer 40k, they are an army where you barely have to remember anything. So they are definitely good. They have very few power-ups, so you don't have to have a lot of paperwork. You could pretty much have like almost 2,000 point list on one sheet of paper. So they are really not a bad army. I personally have like a warlord, a 5-man group of immortals, and then like 30 warriors or so, and then like a heavy destroyer, destroyer lord, and something else. It was really random. I just bought it. Honestly, 60% of why I bought this thing was for the case that came with it. It's a Games Workshop case, and they wanted $60 for like 80 models and a mid-size Games Workshop case, and I was like, yeah. I mean, I pretty much like buy the case and get all the models free. So I stripped them all down. The only thing that killed me was I didn't realize it because the photo was so crappy. The guy only took one photo. I didn't realize that like probably 35 to 40% of the models were the old metal Terminator, the old metal Necrons that are all hunched over and like they look like T100 whatever, you know, like a really crappy hunched over hunchback version of, you know, the T-100 from the Terminator movies. So, anyways, those are a good army. They're, like I said, just throw them in stuff, get them across the field. Some of their heavier equipment's also good, like their Doomsday Ark, the chariot that one of their warlords rides. So, demons. This army is advanced. I'm not gonna lie. There's not a lot of shooting. There's like the Zinch Flamers. I think it's, yeah, Zinch Flamers. There's a couple of cannons. That's about it. That's really all you're dealing with. Yeah, Flamers, fun bombardment, and yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all you're working with shooting wise. Demons though are a 6+ safe. So you kind of have to be careful with them. You're going to be losing a lot, but their army focus is summoning. Okay, I'm sorry. You can spam summoning and not make very many friends, or you can kind of... but, I mean, it's almost necessary in the Demon's army to summon. So it's kind of one of those, take it with a grain of salt. So summon a little bit, but don't just sit there and spam, you know, hundreds of demonettes or hundreds of bloodletters or whatever, you know, tick someone off. So you're gonna be losing a lot of guys there. Yeah, they're really a march forward and cut things down with swords army. Plague bears, swords. Demonettes, sword hands, or claws, or whatever you want to call them. Bloodletters, swords. Pink horrors. Pink horrors are going to be like, I guess, your saving grace. That's going to be your shooting, but it's all going to be psychic attacks. So it's up to you. It's a very psychic army. If you like the psychic phase, that is the army for you. They can be hard to defeat. I won't lie. If you can get in there and you can warp lance a bunch of their vehicles and pop them just like that, and then do some of the, I think there's a few, I think, I'm not totally knowledgeable about the demons. I'm pretty sure that they have a few template spells and stuff like that they can throw at you and knock your troops out, and then let their bloodletters and stuff run in there, get furious charge and stuff, and get you knocked out. Moving on to Tyranids. You're gonna see barbed stranglers here and there, not as much. I just put them in there because you do see them on occasion. I personally don't run with them. Devourers are huge. Devourers everywhere. Carnifexes with Devourers. High Tyros with Devourers. Termagants with Devourers. I think Harpies can have Devourers, but like everybody Devourers. 3 shots. They're strength 4, AP nothing, but I mean you can pretty much murder a lot of stuff with these things. Spike rifles are pretty cool. They're pretty much like a weaker Devourer with less shots. Flesh borers. That's pretty much the standard weapon for Termagants, so those will be just fine against the Guarders or Orcs or something like that. They're strength 4, AP 5, so those aren't too bad. You will see Venom Cannons on the larger beasts. Tyranid Warriors can take them as a weapon, so they're not bad. Warp Blast is a psychic ability. You're going to see that a lot from Zone Probes, from Tervigons, possibly even from, I think, Hive Tyrants are psychic, I think. I'm not positive. I don't quite remember off the top of my head. And Warp Lance as well, same thing. This is a very melee heavy army. Their elites are going to be like a 4+ save. Then pretty much all their troops are 6+. So they're not super duper crazy strong or anything like that. But you're going to see a lot of Bone Swords, Crushing Claws, Rending Claws, Sliding Talons, and Spine Fists. So you will see more of those than you will really the shooty, especially the Sliding Talons, because they are rending on 6. So you can get a group of Homagons together, run across the field, fodder them off, but then run a Carnifex or 2 in from behind, and pretty much murder everything. So they're a pretty good army. I like them. Jeez, did I really just burn through all the armies? So, wow, I'm proud of myself. I knocked that out. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. One thing I did forget to mention on the intro video was Necrons. So I'm gonna buzz over them real fast. They have the reanimate, so they are tough and strong. They have a 4+ save, which is kind of average. Yeah, it's not bad. Their Goth weapons are super tight. They will take care of pretty much just about anything you want to do. You can glance flyers, you can glance tanks, and you can take out troops. Pretty easy. The only killer is they are the short range. So yeah, they do have a lot of power weapons, powerhouse units, like the Monolith and things like that. So I don't suggest using the Deceiver or the other guy like the Star God or whatever. They're, as far as I've seen, the 1 or 2 battle reports I've seen them in, they're semi-effective. They can either be super duper effective and kill everything, or they can totally flop. So it's one of those things, and it gives you a little bit of psychic barrier against regular psychers, but yeah. So that's what I know. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is just kind of like the second half of the intro to kind of give you generalized with the armies, what weapons you're going to see from them, and like on a general basis. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the funny lighting. Sorry if it was acting kind of weird, but do what you can. So anyways, you guys have a good week. I'll see you soon.